The rain was coming down in sheets when Emily, a single mom rushing home after her late shift, spotted an old man struggling with a cane. Cars splashed past him without slowing, but something in Emily's heart pulled her brake before her mind could. "Sir! Get in, let me take you home," she called through the downpour. The man hesitated, soaked to the bone, his hands trembling. I don't want to trouble you," he whispered. "It's no trouble," Emily insisted. "Please." When he settled into the passenger seat, Emily noticed how fragile he looked, like life had been unkind for too long. "What's your name?" she asked gently. "Walter," he replied, staring at his wet hands. "People don't usually stop." Emily smiled softly. "Maybe they should." Walter guided her to a tiny, dim apartment with peeling paint and a broken porch light. Emily's heart tightened. No family pictures. No warmth. Just silence. "Thank you," Walter said. "You didn't have to." Emily nodded. "I wanted to." As she drove away, she didn't know why helping him felt different, like she had stepped into a story that wasn't done yet. The next morning, as Emily prepared breakfast for her young son, there was a knock at the door. When she opened it, her breath caught. Walter stood there, dry, smiling, and dressed in a suit. And behind him was a black car she had never seen before. "Emily," Walter said softly, "there's something you should know." Emily froze at the doorway, staring at Walter, no longer the frail, forgotten man in the rain, but someone who suddenly looked important. His suit was crisp, his posture stronger, and the black car behind him gleamed like something meant for CEOs, not elderly men living in tiny apartments. How are you here?" she stammered. Walter smiled gently. "May I come in?" Emily stepped aside, confused but curious. Walter entered, his eyes falling on the worn couch, the stack of bills on the table, and the breakfast plates she had been setting out for her son, Noah. "I didn't tell you the truth yesterday," Walter began. "Not because I wanted to deceive you, but because I needed to see something." Emily frowned. "See what?" Walter clasped his hands. "Kindness. Pure kindness. The kind that can't be bought." He took a breath. "My name isn't just Walter. I'm Walter Green, founder of Green Tech." Emily blinked. The name was familiar, very familiar. Green Tech was a nationwide company. A big one. "But why were you walking alone in the rain?" Walter looked down. "I went out to clear my head. I've been testing something. Seeing how invisible an old man can become." He shook his head. "Yesterday, hundreds of people passed me. Only one stopped. You." Emily felt heat rush to her face. "I didn't do anything special." "That's where you're wrong." Walter's voice softened. "You did something most wouldn't." Noah peeked from behind the kitchen doorway, and Walter's expression warmed. "I came today," he continued, "because I want to repay your kindness in a way that may change your life, if you'll allow me." Emily felt her heart pound. Offers like that didn't come from men like Walter Green, not to people like her. "I appreciate this," she said slowly, "but I don't want charity." Walter chuckled softly. "You think kindness is charity?" "No. It's recognition." He motioned toward the couch. "Please sit." Emily hesitated but obeyed. Noah climbed into her lap, watching Walter curiously. "I built Green Tech from a small workshop," Walter began. "But somewhere along the way, surrounded by boardrooms and investors, I lost touch with real people." His voice trembled. "Yesterday, you reminded me of who I wanted to be." He reached into his briefcase and pulled out a folder. "I learned about you," he admitted gently. "Your late shifts. Your struggle as a single mother. Your overdue rent. Yet you still stopped for a stranger in the rain." Her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. "I'm not here to judge," he added quickly. "I'm here to help." He slid the folder toward her. Inside was an offer letter, printed on official Green Tech letterhead. A salaried position. Flexible hours. Health benefits for her and Noah. a starting salary she had never imagined earning in her life. "I don't understand," Emily whispered. "You're smart, hardworking, compassionate, all qualities I want in my company," Walter said. "But more importantly, Noah deserves security. You deserve rest. And I want to use the time I have left to change lives." Tears blurred her vision. "Walter, I don't know what to say." "Just say yes," he replied softly. Emily looked down at Noah, whose tiny hands clutched her shirt. She exhaled shakily. "Yes." Walter smiled, relieved. "Good. Because this is only the beginning." Life changed quickly after that. Within a week, Emily was working at Green Tech. Her new coworkers welcomed her with warmth, and for the first time in years she didn't feel like she was drowning. Noah began attending a quality daycare program covered by her benefits, and Emily felt hope growing in places she had forgotten existed. Walter remained close. Some days he visited her office with cookies for Noah. Other days he sat with her during breaks, sharing stories from his early years, stories filled with hardship that echoed her own struggles. But one afternoon, something shifted. Walter didn't show up for work. The next day, he didn't come either. Emily grew uneasy, and by the third day, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. With Noah in tow, she drove to the small apartment where she had first dropped him off. The door was unlocked. "Walter?" she called. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. Walter was sitting in his armchair, pale but smiling faintly when he saw her. "I knew you'd come," he whispered. Emily's heart clenched. "Are you okay? Why didn't you tell anyone you were sick?" He took a slow breath. "Because I didn't want pity. I've lived a full life. But I didn't want to leave before making sure you and Noah were safe." Tears welled in her eyes as Noah approached him, placing a small hand on Walter's knee. Walter smiled at the boy. "You saved me, you know," he said softly, "by reminding me what goodness looks like." Emily knelt beside him, holding his hand. "Walter, what can I do? Just promise me one thing," he whispered. "Keep helping others, the way you helped me." Walter passed peacefully 2 days later. The news shook Emily more deeply than she expected. Walter had walked into her life as a stranger in the rain, but he had left as family, changing her future in ways she could never repay. At the memorial service, executives, employees, and community members filled the hall. Many shared stories of Walter's generosity, but when Emily stepped up to speak, the room fell silent. "I met Walter in a storm," she began. "He looked lost, but the truth is, I was the one who needed direction. I just didn't know it." She described the moment she stopped her car, the soaked figure in the headlights, and the quiet gratitude in his voice when he accepted her help. "Sometimes," Emily said, her voice cracking, "the smallest act of kindness can change 2 lives at once." After the service, Walter's lawyer approached her with an envelope. It was his final request, he said. Inside was a handwritten letter from Walter. "Emily, I leave you my apartment, my savings, and a trust for Noah's education. You gave me dignity in a moment the world ignored me. Use this gift to build the life you deserve, then give others their chance too. With love, Walter." Emily pressed the letter to her heart as tears fell. Noah tugged her sleeve. "Mom? Is Walter an angel now?" She smiled through her tears. "Yes, baby. And he's still helping us." Months passed, and Emily honored her promise. She started a small local program offering rides, meals, and support to seniors living alone. And every time it rained, she whispered, "Get in. Let me take you home." Because Walter had shown her what kindness could become.